Here we go. Welcome to my WWE Payback 2020 recap and reactions, and that ending was, who didn't see that coming? But what I didn't see coming is just how the way they did everything with him coming out late. But I'm just gonna talk about it at the end. But we already knew he was gonna be the champion. Oh, he did what he said he was gonna do. Once he showed up, as soon as he came back, regardless, outside of the whole Paul Heyman guy stipulation or the whole gimmick of what that is, with him becoming the next Paul Heyman guy, we already saw him coming to get that title away because he never lost it. But the Fiend never deserved to lose the title in the first place against someone who was already a legend, who was only going to just hold on to just be there just for show. But I'm going to get into that later on in the video. So every match from the match card tonight, from back-to-back events, this was unexpected. I was thinking this was going to be another, 3 weeks until they come out with another event. But this was the following weekend. We already had an event last weekend. We already had SummerSlam. So now this weekend, we got Payback. So the next event is going to be Night of Champions. So let's get right into it. I'm just going to run through some of these matches because I have so much to say about just the way the show just ended. I just didn't really like that too much. I don't know about anybody else, but we'll get into that. But our kickoff show, we got Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan teaming up to try to reunite to bring that Riott Squad back to take on the IIconics for the kickoff show. And I thought they would have the Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan lose again because they've been constantly losing week after week. When they tried to, it seemed like the writers were trying to bring them back, but just from the results of tonight's match at the kickoff show, this was the only kickoff show match, by the way. It seemed like the Riott Squad is back. I know it's not complete, and they're missing Sarah Logan, who is part of the Riott Squad. I wonder if she's gonna make a comeback. Maybe they'll try to recruit her again. Maybe she'll get another spotlight on the show because she was part of the Riott Squad. But it's not to say that Sarah Logan isn't good, and she doesn't have her own individual talent like Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott has already of their own individual talents in the ring. But I think that's probably the next thing that's probably gonna happen. Maybe we'll see that tomorrow night on Raw, to see them back together, and they'll probably try to have the full Riott Squad come back together and compete. And maybe they'll want those tag team titles now. But they've gone against the IIconics. That was it for the kickoff show. But now it's time for the main event and the main show to really go through some of these matches that took place. So to kick off the main show for Payback is the United States Championship. Apollo Crews defending his championship against Bobby Lashley and one-on-one. But of course, Shelton Benjamin and MVP is out there on the ringside. But of course, they didn't really interfere in the match. They were on the commentary, just watching and looking on, part of the Hurt Business, to support Bobby Lashley. But I was hoping Apollo Crews would be able to hold on to this title a little bit longer. But now that Bobby Lashley has beaten him tonight, and now he's the new United States Champion, I'm not sure they're gonna really try to give Apollo Crews a chance to get that belt back. Because once he loses, I'm getting that title back, and he tries to take his frustrations out on Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business and all that. But it seems like I'm not sure if he's gonna really get the title back anytime soon. Maybe this was just his one title that he'll end up getting. Maybe it's gonna take a long time. But I guess he'll get his rematch maybe at Night of Champions. We'll see. Maybe some other participants and other competitors will want a shot at that United States Championship as well. The next match, Biggie versus Sheamus in a regular one-on-one match. And as you guys probably didn't already know, Biggie was already going to win this match. Because it seems like they're going to push something I really want to talk about in regards to Biggie. Now, there's no Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods has been on the show for quite some time. And Kofi Kingston has recently left and sustained an injury of his own, I believe 2 months ago. So now Biggie gets a chance to shine as his own solo individual competitor in singles matches. So now my question is, how far are they willing to push him? How far are they willing to take Big E and have him win? Are they going to take him to the main to get into the big picture, to be a champion, a WWE champion of his own? Or maybe he'll try to get himself into the Universal Championship. Now that we already had everything go down, maybe he'll find himself one day up there to compete for that championship. But I don't know. Maybe I think they'll probably this is my prediction. They're probably just gonna push him all the way up to be able to compete for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't think they're gonna push him that far. I would be very surprised if they do decide to push Big E Langston all the way up there to take him all the way. But I'm not sure that's gonna happen. But I guess we'll just find out as they continue to go on, because they're having him win matches now, and I think it's gonna be a while before they come back and recover Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods being the one that's been out the longest, it's probably going to be quite some time before he comes back. Maybe later on towards the towards the end of the year, or maybe next year in 2021, if anything. So let's get to our next match: King Corbin versus Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle, we already knew he was going to win this, so against King Corbin. But even though Matt Riddle ended up winning, he ended up being attacked backstage against King Corbin. So this rivalry or this feud is going to continue, it seems. But I'm thinking there's probably going to be more stipulations to the matches, an added stipulation for them. It's not going to be like a regular match, unless someone wants to cash in for that King's ransom to help King Corbin beat Matt Riddle in the system. I guess we'll have to find out. So Matt Riddle ended up being King Corbin, or Baron Corbin, as we knew him before he was King of the Ring. WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, Sasha Banks and Bayley defending their titles against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. I didn't see this coming. It's just this duo. But now that I know this, now that they lost the titles against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, did you guys see that? For those who probably watched, the submission move that she did on both Sasha Banks, I almost said Sasha Jax, Sasha Banks and Bayley at the same time. She put her submission magic on both of them and got them both to basically tap out and end up securing the win for her team. So now Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are the new tag team champions, the women's tag team champions. And I think this is the beginning of the split up between Bayley and Sasha now. So now Sasha is out of gold now. She lost her WWE Women's Raw Tag Team, well, not Raw Tag Team Championship. She lost her Women's Raw Championship against Asuka, and now is just leading. That was SummerSlam from last weekend. So now this weekend, from today, or basically tonight, she loses her her last piece of gold, the tag team titles. So now I think this is going to lead up to the split up now. So maybe she's going to want to challenge Bayley eventually for that SmackDown Women's Championship. I think that's the only way that I see Bayley losing that championship. I'm not sure if it's going to be anything else, any other competitors that'll probably want a shot at Bayley, because I can't really think of anybody else on the SmackDown Women's roster who she hasn't beaten already. She's already beaten Naomi and just all the other different competitors that they have on there. That some of them I haven't even seen in a while. I don't even know if they're still on the show. But I think maybe anybody from maybe someone from NXT might come around and maybe be pushed over and moved over to take that title away. But for now, I only see Sasha Banks being that one person, being the only one that's capable of probably taking that title away. That the writers are probably due for that, is have her lose the title against her own best friend, of taking the title away and breaking her, ending her championship reign. So I'm sure this is probably going to happen soon. And it was bound to happen, because they always do that every time. Bestest of friends, they win matches, they coexist, they get along, they help each other win, even if they have to cheat and do whatever it takes to help their partner or their best friend win. And now it just only leads up to betrayal and the backstabbing, and then the challenges, the upcoming challenges that they end up doing, and then someone's going to lose their championship, and then the friendship just breaks up from there. But those are my reactions and predictions for that. So now, Keith Lee versus Randy Orton. I didn't really think Keith Lee was going to end up winning this. I thought it was going to probably end up being like a disqualification. I didn't think it would be any in a clean run for Keith Lee to end up beating Randy Orton. And it seems like they're going to have Randy Orton just pushing, just given the fact that Keith Lee had his debut, it was almost bound to know. We were always just knew that he was going to probably end up winning anyway, because it's his first real match against being the newcomer on the Raw roster coming over from NXT. But I'm curious to see how they're going to push him to, not even just Biggie Langston. How far are they going to really take Keith Lee? Look at superstars like Ricochet and Aleister Black. They haven't even really won any championships, really. And Ricochet had like the United States Championship when it was still on Raw. I think it was, I think it was on Raw for a little bit, but now it's on SmackDown. But other than that, he hasn't. Those other superstars, Ricochet, he hasn't really got any other title opportunities. And Aleister Black, it's like he's just going to be feuding with Owens from what he did last week. But see how they're not really getting the title opportunities as good as they are on the show. I'm scared they're going to do the same thing for Keith Lee. So he ended up getting his revenge for Drew McIntyre. But I'm sure Randy Orton's probably going to attack him probably tomorrow night and try to punt him or something like that. We'll have to see what they do. This was my favorite match, one of my favorite matches from tonight. Rey Mysterio and Dominik, his son, teaming up, father and son teaming up against Seth Rollins, or the Monday Night Messiah, against Buddy Murphy, with his partner Buddy Murphy in a tag team match. So, I first thought they were gonna lose again, but now it's nice to see that they finally decided to have the team of Rey Mysterio or the Mysterio family get a win over Seth Rollins as revenge and as payback. And what I liked is that Dominik got his chance to shine for this event tonight. So that's what I really liked the most. He's really, and just like I said during my SummerSlam video, he has a lot of potential. He's pretty good, and I can't wait to see what else he does. Now, well, next for his upcoming matches or whatever else they decide to do with him, I hope they eventually let him get a championship. I do see him as a future champion, but I want to see how far and see him improve even more and see what else he can do in the ring and what else they decide to do for the storyline. And just like I said last time, I'm ready for this storyline to be over with. This Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins, let's have him do something else and let him get into some matches and start getting his stardom, his road to stardom up now that he's part of Raw. So I'm hoping they do something with him. But I think it was a great match. I think it was the best match of the show. So now we're, by surprise, the main event. I just gotta get into it. The Universal Championship being defended by The Fiend, who I was hoping would still hold on to the title because he just got it back after losing it just ridiculously against Goldberg from WrestleMania or whatever the case was. It was ugly. Ugly match, and he just didn't deserve that. But now, just wait till you guys. I just gotta go through this, and I took some notes for this match just to explain to you guys what exactly went down just during this whole match for this. The Fiend defending his championship in a no-holds-barred triple threat match against Roman Reigns, and then a returning Roman Reigns, and then Braun Strowman in this match. It basically wasn't really a triple threat match. It just started off as a one-on-one match, a one-on-one no-holds-barred match between The Fiend and Braun Strowman. Roman Reigns never came out in the beginning. He never came out. He didn't even sign the contract until later. So I'm just going to go through just point by point of that, what I just took down, so I can explain to you guys exactly what happened. So the match starts off with Braun Strowman and Fiend, just like I just mentioned. And then, as I just predicted, I knew Roman was going to come out there later on and just try to cherry pick and just pick up the pieces. I just don't like how they did this. But it's like they stalled him out for some reason, as if he wasn't ready to compete, so they just had him do a couple moves. But what I did like, the highlight that I caught from this match was Alexa Bliss watching in the background. So I'm guessing she's probably going to be Sister Abigail. I'm guessing she's probably going to have some kind of a fit in the Wyatt family, or maybe she'll help the Fiend secure the title and win that Universal Championship right back from Roman. So, sadly, she didn't even have any sort of participation in this match, or she didn't interfere or anything like that. I was thinking that she probably would help the Fiend retain his championship, but I'm thinking she's going to have a role in helping him secure it and get it back in some kind of way. But I'm really interested in seeing what happens this Friday for SmackDown, to see if she's going to have some kind of role. Maybe they're going to have some other members. Maybe they'll get some other people involved to be a part of the Wyatt family. So that was the main highlight that I got from this match. But she only ended up watching on from the background. I just thought she would have some kind of role, a special role into this match. But the ring ended up collapsing because the Fiend ended up suplexing Braun Strowman off the top of the turnbuckle, and the way the referee just went over the rope was kind of funny too. But and once that happened, I knew. I was just imitating the music. I said, "Here comes Roman with the with his theme song," just waiting for his theme song to hit, and here he comes. He comes out to pick up the pieces with a chair. At first he didn't even decide to use the chair. He ended up just trying to secure the victory and just pin the Fiend or Braun Strowman, whoever he can get the victory on. They end up kicking out. He did a low blow on the Fiend when he tried to use the claw or the mandible claw on him. And that was basically it for the Fiend for the rest of the match. A spear right on Braun Strowman, and that was the match. The match was over. And Roman Reigns ended up becoming a new champion because he pinned Braun Strowman. But what I dislike is that he only came out to pick up the pieces. He only came out to sign he signed the contract the day of the event. I never seen somebody come out there and just sign the contract. I thought last I checked, you're supposed to sign the contract prior to the event. So how is he really the champion? But I guess it is what it is now. So I guess they wrote it that way so to have him come out there to make him as a heel to really try to capitalize. I just don't like how they just wrote that all out and played that out for this match. They basically have him sit in the back and just basically have the Fiend and Braun Strowman fight each other. Let's have them fight each other and just tear each other apart. And then Roman Reigns can just come out there just completely refreshed with all his energy and just capitalize, pick up the pieces, and score an easy victory. I just didn't really like that too much. So I think that the worst part of the show was the ending. But what's there to say that he wasn't going to already be a champion? Roman Reigns just came back. So he never lost the title, which I understand. But just due to the circumstances with the outbreak, he was supposed to defend his title at WrestleMania against Goldberg. So I just didn't like how they really put that together. But let me know what you guys think about it. That was basically the show and the event. But I think the highlight from that match was a bless of Bliss, maybe possibly being able to turn into Sister Abigail. I think that I see that coming soon. And I hope she plays a good role into helping the Fiend out in his matches and maybe getting that title back. And why would they just have him? It's like they're just giving him a short title reign. He just had it. He just got it last week, and then just a few days later, the weekend hits and he loses it to a returning surprise superstar like Roman Reigns that we all sure didn't see coming. But I do like he's part of being a Paul Heyman guy. But I just don't like the way that they wrote that. You have him sit in the back and he just comes out there and pick up the pieces on the Fiend. But at least the Fiend didn't get pinned.